Good evening. My name is Leoric Silverbloom, and I'm your host for tonight. Joining us tonight is Huginn, my advisor. So, first, I'll tell you what happened in the Western Front in the Battle of Berlin, since most of us already knew the story of the Eastern Front and how the Soviet Union took over Berlin. But in this video, I want to talk about the Western Front, and I'll explain what's going on, and then give you the general summary for the context. And then after that, me and Huginn will talk and chat about some interesting points we've gathered in our research. So, I'll tell you the reason why while the Soviet is taking ass and kicking names. Taking names and kicking ass. Okay, so we need to understand that the Allies are not a centralized force. The British commanders wanted to take Berlin at all costs, but Eisenhower learned the hard way that the heavily depleted German army can still put up one hell of a fight, as you can read in the Battle of the Bulge and Operation Market Garden. So, he chose to keep the wide push and spread the already thin German forces even thinner, minimizing the risk of failure and hopefully minimizing casualties. Hopefully. Also, they're delayed because they are looking for this super secret but fake fortress for the Nazi commanders. So that's that. And Germany also last defended on the east because Hitler refused to give the order to reinforce the Eastern Front against the overwhelming Soviet forces, reasoning that the Soviet forces are mostly made of conscripts and young men, so they're not as well trained as the Nazi forces, the Germany army. But funny that he say that because at this point in war, actually, I think the Germany at this point already made up of Hitler youths, that's a boy around the age of 15 and 18, and veterans. So they either have a young boy or the soldier past their peak condition. So it's not exactly fair to say that the Soviet are weak just because they're... I guess it's just Hitler losing touch with the reality of the situation in the field. So, all those combined resulted in the Soviet forces reaching Berlin before them. Bad news for them because they are much more afraid of the Soviet than the Allies. At least the Allies can be reasoned with and have mercy at some capacity. The Soviet, on the other hand, are reportedly so brutal that the Germans chose death over capture. And the final reason is because when they're just 60 miles away from Berlin as compared to Soviet Union's 30 or 40 miles. Eisenhower gave the order not to push for Berlin because they do not want the Germans to split the forces into two fronts and make it easier for the commies to take Berlin. Also, by doing so, he can hopefully reduce the number of casualties on their side. So, even when fighting a common enemy, there's still this rivalry between the US and the Soviet. And now that we get that part covered, let's talk about something interesting. Some interesting events in the Western Front. Joining me now is Huginn. Both of us been learning and reading about this war, and we'll talk about some interesting things we found while reading this subject. But please bear in mind that we're still learning about this world and by no means experts in this matter. So, if you have anything to add yourself, you can comment down below.
I found quite an interesting tidbit that, unlike the battle that conducted in our world, you guys apparently clean up the battlefield before, well, the battle. Since, one would think that it's gonna be messy and destroyed anyway, so why bother cleaning
Yeah,
up? But apparently it has something to do with, not giving your enemy the advantage.
I guess so, but it's amazing, isn't it? Because they don't have prestidigitation, so it will make
Yeah,
the
so it's
cleaning
like
even
rubble by
harder.
rubble,
I know,
yeah,
manual
brick
labor,
by
what the
brick.
fuck?
It's quite it's quite interesting to see that because
It's quite interesting.
yeah.
What kind of advantage do they disadvantage, I guess, if they don't clean up the battlefield? Why does it affect
I
them?
mean, I guess based on what I read, the Russians very comfortable in making a rubble their cover. They say it's like
Ah,
they're
they're good at
are used to yeah
urban camping,
yeah
basically.
urban
Yeah, yeah,
camping
yeah.
and yeah
Ah, so they no, you don't mean like trash or bodies. You mean like rubbles and buildings and stuff.
yeah. So they use the
Holy,
destruction
holy
around
crap!
them to you know. Another thing is like, well, I think if we manage to come back to our world, we need to implement this rule in our war, I guess.
Yes.
So like the fact that they want to preserve the arts and the finer things in life before the war happens, to make sure that
Yes, but
it's not
it's
destroyed.
harder for us because we have artifacts and it's they're dumb if
Yeah,
they don't take the
our art,
artifacts. Yeah.
yeah, artifacts and art sometimes are like the same thing.
Exactly.
So
Also, you have to clean up based on what we're fighting because if we're fighting against war, for example, it's way harder to make sure they don't use our resources because they just can't dig underground. And against wood elf, I guess it's easier. You can just cut down trees and burn everything, leaving the bare ground. I think it's easier that way.
yeah, I guess yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But speaking of destruction, I found it quite amusing also that it seems they have like enemy preferences. Like I read that like if
Hmm?
the Russian come first to the Berlin,
Uh-huh.
they order the all like communication and subway to be like immediately destroyed so they cannot have it.
Ah, the
But
subway, yeah. Uh-huh.
if it's yeah, if it's the allies that come, they just like keep it intact and like here we go. We kind of surrender about it.
We kind of surrender, but
Yes,
yeah, I get it.
you know.
Well, talking about the preferred enemy parts, I guess the Germans are way more afraid of the Russians than the Allies
I mean,
in that sense.
I've read that they use people as like shield
Oh,
to their
wait,
tanks.
that's
Is the
real?
word
That's
tanks?
real?
I
I've
think
read a rumor
so.
about that, but I haven't verified if that's real or not. But I
Well, well, Prince, based on
hmm?
my readings too, I would not, put it outside of the realm of possibility that they
Oh
use
yeah, you wouldn't put it
people
past
as
them.
shield. Yeah, I wouldn't put past them
I guess it is. Also, the
when
Germans are so scared shitless. You know that in their underground bunkers and stuff, they wrote like, if I don't speak German, but learn schnell Russisch, basically learn Russian quickly, because they know the Russians are coming.
like so they basically just open this small pocketbook like how to surrender in
How
Russian
to
kind of
read
thing.
in Russian, yes. Because they're scared
I see.
shitless of the Russian. You know, okay,
Yeah.
well,
I mean,
huh?
again, yeah, based on the reading and the fact that the failed campaign of them invading Russia,
Uh-huh.
I can understand
I
why
can understand.
they
But
yeah.
I mean, even yeah, okay. Time to talk about Walter Wang for a second. I know this is the Western Front, but he moves to the Western Front for a second. Uh, yeah,
So it's technically still in on topic. Yeah,
it's
it's
still
still
on topic. Yeah, yeah. He basically led the civilians and his army to surrender to the West instead of the East, right?
smart.
That's smart.
Yeah,
He's
smart.
even doing the fighting retreat thing.
Hmm.
So he basically make a corridor through the Russian line just to make it
I
to
see.
the River Elba and surrender to the American. And oh yeah, that part. Do you know that the Russian accidentally killed some Americans when they just strike the bridge when Walter White
I
tried to
think so.
surrender? Yeah,
Yeah.
and that helped because
It's
the
just like
American have to fall back, and that lets the civilian and the Ninth Army and the 12th Army just cross the river. Okay, so
right. Mhm.
Yeah, you first.
No, I think you. I have a feeling that you want to try. Have something
Okay.
under your sleeve, my prince.
I just want to say that uh it's funny thing, even Himmler tried to persuade the ally to like let's just join forces and fight the Soviet, am I right? Like something like that. Because they're so scared shitless.
Yeah, again, back again to the enemy preference.
Victory. Yeah, but also Himmler is like it's justified for doing that because when fighting a common enemy, there's still rivalries between the West and the East, right?
Well, I mean, America and British is not exactly what you call a country that's welcoming of socialism and communism.
I mean, yeah, and Nazis are well socialists in name only.
Well, they're
In
socialists.
name only.
And
It's
that's
debatable.
kind of
Yeah,
it's
it's a
debatable
whole
from
nother
what I read.
topic.
Yeah, but yeah, topic again that we'll not get into because
It,
from what I read in this world, the politics is
yeah, let's
crazy.
not get into this world's politics for now. Unless they're in history books, then we'll talk about politics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Himmler. Wait, didn't one of the generals? I forgot who, but someone suggested to Hitler that he he needs to be evacuated to I don't know Japan, Argentina,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something else. That's one more I forgot.
yeah, yeah. There's there's Argentina, there's Japan, and there's like some European place if
Some neutral
I
place, if I
remember
remember
correctly.
correctly. Yeah,
Yeah, neutral place. Yeah,
I forgot which. Yeah, viewers
and
can comment down below to tell us which country is
yeah.
it. We literally forgot about it.
Uh, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's the rumors, but going to the Argentina,
I
it has some ground somehow.
are you into
I
conspiracy
mean,
theories now?
no, my prince, it's an interesting read to have because there's the fact that there's a
Mm-hmm.
small section in Argentina where they speak
German, yeah.
German or yeah, and then the fact that the people there, most okay, maybe not most, but some of their ancestor or like grandma and grandpa, things like that
Oh, yeah.
are
No,
whites and have the makings of a German people.
are you
So
telling me that the Argentinian are the Aryan capital of the world now?
I'm not insinuating that. I'm just saying that there's a possibility that they run
No, no,
there
no.
to
It's not.
Argentina.
I think there is some concrete evidence that the Nazi do escape. Some of the Nazis officer and personnel do escape to Argentina. The question is whether or not Hitler himself evacuates to
Right, yeah.
Argentina. Yeah.
Because the piece of skull that the Soviet claimed that like, yeah, this is the skull of Hitler himself. And then the others like, can we check the authenticity of that? And then the Soviets say no.
I- if I remember correctly, you said that it was a woman's skull.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't
They
read
they
about it.
found out that it's a woman's skull.
I haven't checked it myself, but yeah,
And last I checked, Hitler is not a woman.
really.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
So it's a woman's skull. I'm pretty sure about that.
I
Yes.
heard you assuming his gender now.
Now hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
I'm not
sorry.
sure, but you know,
Yeah.
pretty sure Hitler, from what I read, my prince, that
He's a
he
bloke.
is of he is of the male gender.
He's a bloke, alright. Yeah. With that
Yeah.
mustache.
There is a lot of rumors regarding that about the Hitler running to Argentina, whether he have one
Okay.
family jewel or
I'm
not.
really sorry. I need to cut you there. I thought you were going to say there's rumors that Hitler's gay. Because I think there's some propaganda about that. if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
They
no, that one is
yeah,
propaganda.
yeah,
The one that's still debated whether it's rumor or propaganda is the fact that he only have one
yeah.
one family jewel.
Family Jewel. Yeah, that's. Oh, I mean, at least they don't pull a Rasputin on him.
Yeah,
And for those who
that's
doesn't
another
know,
topic to talk again. Yeah,
for those who doesn't know, they put how do I say it? Rasputin's
Rasputin is a man of immense length,
and
let's say,
and,
and
and
they preserve that particular length.
in a jar like a pickle.
Yeah, it is somehow taken as a memorabilia and then sold to their granddaughter or something, and then the granddaughter sold it again.
Yeah,
It's yeah,
it's yeah. Okay, back to Hitler. Let's go back to Hitler. Let's not go off into a tangent here.
yeah. That's that. I think that's another
That's
topic to
another
talk
topic.
about.
We'll talk about that when we're talking about Russian stuff, Russian politics.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's a rumor that he's evacuated to Tokyo or some Japanese colonies, right?
yeah, but I think it's more possible that he will go to European places or like at least somewhere close to Argentina. It still makes sense.
Yeah,
Because I mean, if Japan itself is not really viable, I mean, it's not a good place to stay if you know looking for a view. Since
yeah. I think if Hitler wants to run, or if want to be evacuated, I think I'm pretty sure he died in that bunker. But if it's a big if he's evacuated, I think it's more possible for him to go to a neutral country in Europe or his what was it? His mountain hideout in the south that the Americans are searching for.
oh yeah, yeah, the rumor place where they say they hold the arts, the lost arts they have, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's also a possibility there, but again, this all just speculation.
I guess it is. And yeah, that's that. I guess we don't want to keep it too long, isn't it?
Yeah, we well, since we're still beginning in this world they call the internet, we don't want to make too long of a form.
Yeah,
We will gradually become comfortable, I
I
guess,
guess in the future.
probably in the
Yeah,
future, and then when that time comes, well, expect the length to be longer.
2 hours. Stream of us just talking about stupid shit. Before we go on on another tangent, let's just cut it here. I hope we spark your interest in this topic and in history in general. And yeah, that's it, I guess. Anything you want to add,
Yeah.
Hugin?
No, I think it's enough for this talk, my friends.
Okay, well, that's it then. See you on the next video. Good night.